What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're going back to their 1986 album Notorious. I'm really enjoying this album, and I gotta admit, as I start to listen to Arcadia, and as I also listen to the first couple tracks on Big Thing, I'm just, beginning to try to, stitch together the sort of temporal and thematic progression of their albums, of their explorations of different sounds, and so I'm trying to stitch together a sort of timeline of the 80s, and that some of the songs from the very early 80s I did know, and then as I continue to explore and understand their music to a greater degree, I am beginning to think about it time-wise in terms of this album was before this one, or this one, came right after they had done side projects and so on. So, I am beginning to percolate thoughts in that regard, and please do let me know if you have a lot of thoughts about that. I know some people have already mentioned in terms of, what they think about the progression of different albums, or the, two different side projects and what they were trying to do, and, coming back to make another Duran album after that. So, I am very interested, so let me know if you have any thoughts, but we're up to the third to last tune, which is Meet El Presidente, which admittedly is in scare quotes, which, you could just write that phrase, but it's interesting to put it in quotes, which suggests it's, like a public declaration, or whether it's, there's a bit of irony to it, or, sarcasm, like, oh, meet El Presidente over here. So, we'll have to see if there's any indication of why there's a use of quotation marks, but I am interested by that. I do know that a couple people mentioned different pieces of information about this tune. One that's coming to mind, I think Izzy was saying originally there was going to be a different single that was chosen. I don't know if it was the lead single, but it was one of the singles for the album. But eventually they changed their mind and they used Meet El Presidente instead. I think that's right. Maybe it was American Science. I'm trying to remember which was the other tune that was, sort of downgraded and not given the single release in the way that Meet El Presidente did. But, sorry Izzy if I'm getting that wrong, do let me know. But yeah, any information about the song that you find worthy to mention, please do let me know. Always appreciate the information coming my way, and as I keep saying, it seems more and more as you guys share this information with me, other people are learning, and so I had information about some of that, but I wasn't aware of some of the others, and then other people are commenting perspective about lyrics, and they're like, wow, I never considered that, even though I've been listening to and loving this song for a long time. So I'm just enjoying seeing it happen. This is very much a group journey now, sort of I'm sort of steering the ship in terms of picking what songs and going through the albums and the way that I can acquire them. But yeah, we're all on board and we're all enjoying the ride, I hope. So do let me know if there is anything about this song worthy to mention. But let's get to it. This is Meet El Presidente by Duran Duran on their 1986 album Notorious. Bass is popping already. I love the keys. I love that little guitar, it's like a scratch. It was like chicka chicka. Oh, baby. Bend your own rules. We humans like doing that, don't we? Do as I say, not as I do. I'm hearing a female vocal here, yeah? Tell me. Smashing nature of the snare standing out. The Fear and Loathing? like visual images here that I'm still sort of like kind of looking from the outside in, trying to like get a sense of. What was empty? Window dressing what? Hitting like flashes of the lines. I like the sort of like soul gospel kind of flavor of those backing vocals. Hey. Like those little brass hits. Angelic pad, sort of just like a layer over the top of the track. Window chambers empty. That's what I thought he said, but I was like, yeah, window chambers. It's not a phrase, I think, at least here in the States, that people use, or at least not often. When those chambers empty? Maybe I'm mishearing it. More sense when those instead of windows. Ooh. Yeah, like really high. I don't know if it was like the louder brass was almost doubling it there, but it was still there. Like, yeah, it wasn't. I'm not sure what that layer was. I don't know if it was another brass instrument or if it was like a flute, like a woodwind. So yeah, there are a lot of elements there that I was on the edge of and are sort of like nebulous and opaque to me. I'm sure whichever like way that one line runs, I'm sure the other interpretation maybe made you giggle, as people who know these songs and lyrics for much longer. I do apologize. Sometimes when I'm listening to a song, the sonics like will really stand out. Other times I'm like really trying to follow the lyrics. But not every line you can hear like perfectly in the first listen. In fact, I was mentioning, this happens a little bit less with Duran Duran, but I was mentioning in a Tears for Fears reaction I did that I love their songs, I love their music, but there are some times where like the first time through, I don't catch as many of the lines, and it's because of the power and sort of the way they sing. But yeah, it just means that I need a few more listens with their songs to try to pick up on some of the themes and so on. So yeah, this one, I only caught little flashes of lines here and there, so I'm going to have to listen to it again in that regard, but I enjoyed the funky flavor of it. It 100% fits in with the sort of like template that the album has been setting down and sort of establishing. So yeah, really enjoy it. It's interesting, like I'm listening to so many tunes and, doing a lot of reactions, and so the American Science one, if that is the one that was sort of, like not selected while this one was chosen as a single, or if it was a different tune, yeah, like I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and see the reaction, because as I sit here now, I can't really think of like a comparison enough to weigh in on whether the inclusion of one as a single or the other would have been a better choice. So yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to them again. What I have been doing is like, I tend to, listen to these songs, once or maybe twice as I'm going through the reactions, but then when I finish an album, then I'll sort of like put the full album in my playlist, and I'll, as I'm doing editing work or whatever on the computer, I'll just let it run all the way through. So oftentimes it's not until I've finished reacting to an album that I'll then kind of like go through it a few times, which is why I had that idea originally in relation to a Tears for Fears album, but now I'm thinking maybe in some other bands I'm reacting to, that once I do that, once I finish reacting to it like song by song, and then put it in my sort of daily playlist and hear it a few times and maybe pick up on some more of the themes and lyrics, that it might be interesting to come back just for a few minute video and just sort of talk about the progression of the album, the different songs, the ones that stand out, the elements that stand out, and just kind of my overall impression of it as a work of art. So again, I think there was a few of you, Ron, shout out to Ron, big fan of your comments, but I think he mentioned that wouldn't be a bad idea. So yeah, if there are any others of you who think that would be cool, do let me know. Just trying to think of some different ideas for video types. So yeah, let me know what you think of the song. Let me know what you think of the album. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you next time.